That's the first smelt. He's got a jack smelt. Remember what I said the other day about a progression of fish will now come through the trough, right? A progression of fish will now come through the trough. So he's going to turn that fish into bait. And the order goes, the jack smelt will come first, and then the striped bass maybe behind it, and then the salmon could come behind it. I mean, if you got far enough out, I suppose you could say lingcod and rock cod and tuna. But here you have a flat shelf that goes way out far off the coast, so it's much harder to catch those kinds of things. But in that trough, from the coast, you can cast using a 20-foot rod, and what I want to do is sit right here with a drone, and I want to send the drone out and have it drop my line. I don't even think I want a 20-foot rod for that. I think what I want is a cable reel of line that's loose and oiled, but it's of a heavier weight, and I want to try to fish way out there. That's what I want to try to do. Again, the pelicans are all fishing the same trough as the tide comes in that these guys are trying to pull from. So here you see they looped around, came back, and they're all going to use wing and ground effect to fly over this trough as the tide comes in to fish, right? And these guys know that. They know this is the spot. There's a riptide here. This is the time. If they're gonna get a hit, it's gonna be around now. It's going, right? Waders. He wants to cast as far out into that trough as he can get. If he saw where the pelicans were, and he's already got a jack smelt, right? So he's getting as far out there as he can get when he casts. This fellow's using clams as and other small things as bait, so he's pulling up bait from all these holes he's doing, right? That guy's now got smelt as bait. I saw him kill the smelt, but I would have rather, what we do, we hook it into the back in the dorsal fin and let it be alive and swimming. But that's not the tactic he's using here. I'm not sure what I would do. It's somewhat complicated, but pretty executable and not too expensive. The idea here is that you're fishing the incoming tide. So you can troll with the drone, and you can reel in. It would be a low-flying drone, altitude 200 meters, 150 meters, 100 meters, you know. It would go straight out, as you saw in the footage there, say 1,000 meters. And then what you would want here, I think, is a breakaway point where the line drops, and now the drone is bringing the other bit, which could be the weighted bit if you wanted, and it could troll on the way back. So the drone is slowly trolling through the trough on the way back and reeling while that's happening. So a based reel I'm talking about. And heavy weight, why not? Heavy weight, because you're going further out there. Wind resistance, 15 to 30 knots, let's say. So this drone has to be built to go into the wind going out there and to be able to hover and come back in a controlled manner. So wind resistance, 15 to 30 knots. A breakaway tensile strength, I don't know. Basically, that's about the gauge of the line. 50-pound test, 100-pound test. 100 pounds seems absurd. What those guys are using out there for salmon is pretty light. We're going to try to go deeper into the trough, so something larger would be good. It would make a short, slow trip out and back, and on the way out it drops your line. That's the idea here. I'm too close and in danger of being bad luck. You don't want to do that to a fisherman. But I did want to document some of that because I think I have a good idea here. And I was just thinking about how the claw on the drone that's connected to the line could be tearaway, and then you could even have it troll on the way back, which would be good. Some basics here would be, we're doing at the low tide, Right at slack is when we want to start sending our drone out and fish for about a half an hour. So we'd be sending the drone out, say, 15 times in a U-turn. The objective is to fish and to troll the trough by drone. The drone needs a gimbal to control a camera, I would think, or we might use a fish finder. Why not use a fish finder if you're going to use a camera? Wind resistance. It has to have a controllable release of your line and a controlled trolling ability to bring it back. We're talking about short, repeated trips from slack. I said for an hour, no wait, but even for 20 minutes with various riggings. So if you did this even for 20 minutes at the right time, I think you could catch a pretty large fish.